Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'll be explaining about one of the typical and a common data engineering pipeline requirement in which we will be having a CSV file present in S3 bucket, and we will create a Lambda function to load that data into Dynamodb. Okay, once that load is successful, we wanted to archive that file also. So it's a most common use case. So we will go ahead and look at this data pipeline, how this can be created using a Lambda. Okay, Lambda is a, serverless event-based compute service which can be used for file handling and file processing as well. And as I said in the previous video, Lambda is not meant for processing huge volume of data, rather for smaller use cases or a smaller file, limited amount of data. Okay, so with that, let's proceed. If you're new to my channel, my name is Rohan, and I would highly encourage you to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my informational videos. All right, so let's get started. So in order to achieve this data pipeline, what we will have to do is we have to interact with multiple AWS services here. So as you see, S3 and then the Lambda and DynamoDB, again another S3 Lambda connections. So in order for this Lambda to work to load the data from S3 to DynamoDB, you will need two levels of access, right? So what we'll do is first we'll start with preparing a data file, and we'll go ahead and upload it to S3, and then we'll create this DynamoDB table. Just the empty table will create it, and once that is done, you will have to create the role for both S3 and DynamoDB. See, now in this case, Lambda function is reading and also writing data into S3, so you will need read and write also on the S3. And at the same time, Lambda is now writing data into DynamoDB, so you will need at least insert into select insert type of privileges on the DynamoDB, right? So in order to achieve this, so we have to have a new role created, and this is the IAM service, right? So this IAM service can be used to create a role that will have both S3 read and write and also DynamoDB privileges. Okay, so and this entire Lambda execution will be automatically processed on the CloudWatch. Okay, so in this video itself, we are covering at least six different services on the AWS. Okay, and then we will also see how Lambda function can be created to read the file from S3 and download it to TMP before we process it on DynamoDB, and then we'll perform the insert into DynamoDB table and then archive the file. Okay, so let's get started with the actual hands-on. So first thing first, we will go ahead and take a look at the data file. So I have a customer data file here with 10 records in it, and what I'll do is I'll log into the AWS console, and in one window I'll go ahead and open DynamoDB, and another one to place the S3 file, and IAM file, IAM service for our role creation, and then we'll also open up Lambda. Okay, once we have these things ready, we'll first work on the data file. So there are multiple buckets here. I'll be uploading the customer CSV. I think it's already there. Okay, so we have this file ready on the S3, and this is there directly under Talent Pro bucket. And once this is processed, I want this file to be present in archive folder. So right now archive is empty, correct? So I'll go back to the main folder. Okay, the data file preparation and upload is ready, and next step is to create the DynamoDB table, right? If I go to tables, there are no tables exist. We'll go ahead and create one table. Okay, I'll give the table name as customer, and for any DB table, we don't have to give all the table names and then the data type and all of that. So we just have to provide the partition key. So partition key in our case is the customer ID, right? If I go back, see this first field is the customer ID. So I'm giving that as the partition key. That's all we need. We don't have to, worry on any other thing. We'll go ahead and create the table. Okay, so the table is now, creating, and then we will go to IAM role, um, because as I said, if I were to go to Lambda, I'll show you when this will ask for the, role. Okay, now I'm in the Lambda dashboard. I'll go ahead and create the function. I'll give the function name as S3 Dynamo. I'll say S3 CSV into Dynamodb archive. Okay, I'll go ahead and choose the Python based solution, and this is the section where we'll have to set the permissions. Right, so there are a couple of options here. If you want to create only the S3 and then the DynamoDB, you will have to either make use of an existing role or you create a new role from the AWS policy templates. So, so that policy templates will have roles like S3. If you go to S3, okay, so you see only the read-only permissions, but we need write also. So this will not help. Policy templates will not help. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create the role separately. So this is the IAM dashboard. I'll go to the roles and I'll go ahead and create a new role. And this new role is for the AWS service. We want this role to be used by the Lambda service, correct? So we'll have to use the Lambda and then click next. And here we will take S3 full access, okay, because we need a read and write. And then I'll go to DynamoDB. Okay, I'll just give the full access for now. And I'll go ahead and click next. And if you see, so this has Dynamo full and also S3 full access. Okay, and this is the role name. We'll give that S3 DynamoDB. Okay, so this is the role name that I'm giving, because wherever you have similar lambdas which is pulling data from S3 to DynamoDB, then you can make reuse this role basically. So we're not supposed to create the roles and the connection at every lambda level. So it's better we create one generic role so that that can be used for the similar pattern lambdas. Okay, so with this I'll go ahead and create the role. Okay, so the role is now created. It's called DYNDB. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and okay, so we'll have to choose this, use an existing role, and here you will be able to see that newly created role. Okay, what I'll do, because I was already in this, so I'll just refresh. Okay, now you see S3 D1 DYN DB, right? DynamoDB. That's the role I just created it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and use this existing role and I'll go ahead and create this function. Okay, so the function is created and a basic Python code would be available already. So what I'll do is I have this pseudocode written. So I'll go ahead and reuse this function, Lambda function. So for the detailed explanation of this in a Python function, you may want to check out my courses. I'll have this entire Lambda function also stored in a CSV file or a TXT file. You can reuse these Python scripts. Okay, so for that you can go to courses.talentpro.com and you can also I'll be explaining this code as well, and you will have access to this Python script as well. But anyways, so this is the function. Basically, it reads the S3 file, downloads it, and then inserts into DynamoDB using a put item. Right, put item is nothing but an insert statements in our SQL world, right? And this is where we specify the table name and all of that. Okay. Now our Lambda function is ready. So in order to pass the events are nothing but input parameters, just to make it dynamic. So db archive. So this event name can be reused here, and for this also I have this JSON based on a event, so that also you'll be able to download from my website in a course. Okay, so this is where I am mentioning the bucket name. This is the bucket name, and then this is the file name. Okay, and even if there are any subfolders, you can give the slash and then the subfolders name. For now, I'll just go ahead and use this as is. Okay, so the Lambda is ready, and we have the input data file ready, and our roles are ready, and then the DynamoDB table is also ready. And if I were to go to explore items, explore items is nothing but select star type of operation. So here you will see this table customer, and if I go ahead and refresh, so here it will show if there are any records, it will show here. Okay. All right, so everything is now set. I'll go ahead and execute the Lambda functions. So before you execute, because the first time you're doing it, so we'll have to deploy this first. And then I'll go ahead and click on test. And this test, right now we are doing it manually. Instead of doing it manually, you can make it as event based trigger, and as soon as the file is uploaded, this Lambda will trigger and load the data into CSV file. Okay, so there is a timeout issue that it is throwing. So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and change this parameter. I think it will be under yeah, general configurations, edit, and we'll give the little higher timeouts. Okay, so we have set the higher timeouts. By the way, you can even increase the resources to make it happen faster, but I'm just going with the minimal memory. Okay, so I'll go back to this code and test it again. Okay, see, now I got the message CSV file processed and data inserted into DynamoDB successfully, and I don't see any other errors. And now what I'll do, I'll go to this DynamoDB and I'll go ahead and refresh. Okay, as you see, all our data is loaded into this DynamoDB table. The same 10 records got inserted into DynamoDB. So this is the hands-on to load. Okay, I think we have another also thing, right? Once that load is successful, we wanted this file to go to archive, right? So let's go ahead and check the archive folder. We'll have to refresh. Yes, so this file is moved to archive folder. Okay, so this completes our end-to-end processing